Doughnut inflation. And in case that didn't come through at the very beginning, I'll say it again. Doughnut inflation. I'm having some trouble here with the camera, and it's quite clear, but what is it? What exactly am I talking about? And so the conversation, or the phrase that I have since termed Doughnut Flation, came about as a conversation I had earlier with my roommate that brought me an idea, obviously, for a little bit of content, but made me really think about a couple of things. And so thank you for watching the videos. I really appreciate it. If you haven't already, take a couple of seconds and subscribe. Get notifications to new videos as I post them. I post 4 every single day and will until the end of the year. And if I don't, somebody can call me on it, because I am hell-bent on making sure that 4 videos a day are uploaded. And obviously, production value and stuff like that, I want everybody to sort of see how it is possible to come from like absolutely nothing to, you know, hopefully something in the future in terms of putting more money and time and energy into actually making these videos of high production value, instead of me just talking in front of the camera. However, I know sidebar continues, but this is in essence the best kind of video, I think. I love watching videos where people just talk, right? I mean, no copyright, no trademark infringements, you know, nothing to flag a video in terms of just somebody talking, giving content, and exercising free speech. And so that's kind of where I'm at with all of the progress as far as the channel is concerned so far. And it's only about a month old too, so there's that, right? But anyways, sidebar over, and now let's continue to talk about Doughnut Flation. And so, as a 36-year-old old man, I recognize a couple of things. One of which is the drastic rise in inflation. Now, I have been privy to the conceptualization of inflation since a very early age, and I always had thought it was kind of sus in terms of just its practice, as far as its practice goes, and its real impact on everyday people. And again, nothing impacts rich people. I think anybody with half of a brain can understand this, right? If you already have what you need and more, we're not talking about you. We're talking about the rest of us in terms of how inflation just is such a detrimental effect to most of our lives, right? The other 98% of us definitely feel inflation worldwide as it comes to the practice of modern day economics. And so got half a dozen donuts earlier, and they were Krispy Kreme branded, right? And so the thing is it was $12 for a half dozen donuts. And so I'm thinking to myself, just quick math here, even without tax on food, you know, a little under $2 a donut. And so I used to work at a Dunkin' Donuts. Yeah, true story. When before my daughter was born in the year 2015, I was slanging donuts, graveyard shift. Yep, true story. And so I remember distinctly, you know, not just more than 10 years ago, just about 8 or 9 years ago, a dozen donuts was roughly $12 to $13, which even then I had thought to myself, because I do a lot of thinking, if you can't tell, sometimes to my detriment, but I'm thinking even at the time, that's awfully expensive. You know, a single donut is $2, and then the incentive, I thought there was an incentivization to purchase a larger amount, and therefore, you know, a dozen donuts or a half dozen donuts would be substantially cheaper if you just quickly added up the math in your head as a consumer. And nowadays we can't do that. They already account for us perhaps doing that, and have taken it to such an elaborate extent as far as their understanding of it to prevent there from being any kind of savings, right? I mean, I hear this a lot coming from different videos and content creators when it comes to the actual size of even products that we buy in stores. Even if they're the same price or just a little bit cheaper than they were in recent times, oftentimes the portions are lowered to reflect that. And so we're not really, you know, saving any money per se, because we get less than we normally would have with the same price point. And so again, Doughnut Flation in just a nutshell is just the realization that I find it fanciful as an American to enjoy a donut every once in a while, right? I mean, similar to our similar to our European counterparts across the pond might think of as like a croissant or whatever, right? And let me tell you, sidebar, croissants in America, like from the bakery as they would be sold, like donuts, are very expensive. And in fact, I've only ever encountered croissant artisan delicatessen shops in really fancy places around the country. And trust me, Albuquerque, New Mexico, so far as I know, doesn't even have one of those, you know? And so, yeah, we may have been the birthplace of the nuclear bomb, but we don't have a good croissant place. Yeah, or a kosher pizza place. Yep. And so, anyways, Doughnut Flation, both of which, again, a gluten-free pizza or kosher pizza, and you can Google this yourself, is very expensive. But again, it's one of those things, I guess. But anytime you see the rise in price for a donut, be concerned, be mindful, and perhaps scale back on the donut consumption. And here's a question I'd like to leave everybody with. It's like, how can companies argue, profit over loss in terms of skewing it as such is the follows. Instead of viewing not making an additional $1 billion as not making an additional $1 billion, they look at it as losing $1 billion. And so they often use the argument, well, we got to rise the prices all over the place. And it's like, so we have to keep the prices rising so you can continue to rake in billions of dollars in profit. You're not willing to just not take a loss, but to not make as much so that you can keep your prices lower. I mean, it sounds pretty simple to me, and I'll get a lot of people who would say otherwise, but it really is that simple. And so, Doughnut Flation, be aware, and maybe start making your donuts at home. I don't know. I know that my mom used to make these really cool little donuts, but yeah, I'm done with the sidebars now.